tonight, Galamsey takes center stage after fatal helicopter crash as Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey demands government action, including immediate interdiction and dismissal of MMDCEs and police commanders in all illegal mining affected districts.
Let's make this count. Major Muhammad lost his life. Let's not make Omane and the 8 others. Muchala, no, not at all.
And there's Galamsey happening in your place. You are either incompetent or you are complicit, or both.
We have details as university lecturers issues final warning to President Mahama to implement the Anti-Galamsey Pact or face a nationwide shutdown of the education system.
If it requires that we close the system to get things done before we open up, we will do that.
We have details of these stories here on Top Story. And Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and shared pension trust into the future with you. Now, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey is amplifying its demands for government action to combat illegal mining, sparked by the recent tragic helicopter crash that claimed 8 lives, including 2 ministers. The coalition is calling for 1, immediate interdiction and dismissal of MMDCEs and police commanders in Galamsey affected district. 2, known politicians allegedly involved in illegal mining should be swiftly arrested and prosecuted by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. They also want the revocation of LI 2162. The coalition demands the revocation of this legislative instrument, which they believe undermines the anti-Galamsey effort. For they want a state of emergency to be declared in critical illegal mining areas to facilitate military deployment and asset freezes. And 5, they want foreign nationals involved in illegal mining to be prosecuted and their activities halted. Now, let's now hear from the convener for the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, Dr. Engineer Kenneth Ashibe, on these demands.
What is going to become of the life of these children? All these people, 8 widows, all of a sudden, plus. My brother, His Excellency the President, I believe, has been hit.
I would be asking His Excellency the President that anywhere you have Galamsey, you should immediately dismiss the MCE and the DCE and the police commanders who are in those communities, the national security people who are in those communities. After you've dismissed them, immediately you need to interdict them and start investigating them for complicity. You dismiss them for incompetence, and then you start investigating them for complicity. Because if you're an MCE, DCE, you are the chairman of the national, of the district or municipal security committee, and you are also the chairperson of the mining committee, and there's Galamsey happening in your place, you are either incompetent or you are complicit, or both. And in both ways, you are not a good representative. So if the president says that one of the KPIs that he's given to the police, to the DC's MC, then we should start seeing that being called out. Yeah. Immediately. We should start seeing that being called out. It's the elephant in the room. The politically exposed person, Senor will draw in the business-connected people, these criminals. And we're not dealing with them, we're dealing with them with kid gloves. And so that's what we need. We want to see the president do. And so the head of EOCO, I'm not too sure why is it that when he came to Wuntumi, there was a show of it. And he was called. Why is it that we've not seen Yamin and the third deputy chairperson, vice president of the NDC also arrested and the investigations being carried out? There's several, these police people, the national security people who went there, their faces are on camera. Why is it that we're not seeing anything about it? And some of them, we have petitions against them, like the NDC MP for Awen, who his traditional authority says he's complicit in it.
Now, speaking on PM Express, convener for One Ghana Movement, Senior Hosi, Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana, Darrell Bosu, and UTAC President, Professor Mahmoud Akudugu, all united in a call for government to use the tragedy to fight illegal mining head on in honor of the 8th. Take a listen to them.
What is going to become of the life of these children? All these people, 8 widows, all of a sudden, plus. My brother, His Excellency the President, I believe, has been hit more than anybody. His relationship with the likes of Omani and Co. For me, he has lost a heartbeat. It is personal to him. That's why when he says the loss is personal to him, he meant it in every way. The man is not stable. He can't be stable because what has happened is getting home. So if there's no awakening at all that ever existed, as for this one, it's an awakening for everybody. Let's make this count. Major Muhammad lost his life. Let's not make Omane and the 8 others. Muchala, no, not at all.
So there's no way we can sit down and ignore this sacrifice.
Yeah.
We cannot.
Yeah.
It's something we need to really take seriously. If we're thinking of just going to let this responsible cooperative mining just go on as just like the community mining was, then this should be the turning point. Nothing should be the same ever again.
For us in academia, we believe that there is no any better opportune time to get this done than now because of the fact that everybody agrees that the loss of these 8 people must not go in vain.
Now, you will recall that prior to the election 2024, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey got presidential candidate to sign to a pact in commitment to the fight. The University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, a month ago gave government 90 days to begin full implementation of their demands. UTAG President Professor Mamudu Akudugu vows they will, quote unquote, shut down the tertiary educational system if the pact is not implemented and nothing is done to honor the 8 fallen heroes.
If this doesn't trigger the kind of decisive action that is required to get us to the promised land, as usual, UTAG will definitely advise itself. And if it requires that we close the system to get things done before we open up, we will do that.
So this is still Top Story, always brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies and also by Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you. Now let's get more insights in all of this discussion and by bringing in those who matter to get them to help address this particular matter. Now you hear the Coalition Against Galamsey calling for the sack of MMDCEs and police commanders in whose district and municipalities this illegal mining menace still exists. Because according to the coalition, that was one of the KPIs that the president gave them when they were appointed. So if that is your KPI and this is still continuing to the extent that some 8 Ghanaians have lost their lives because of that, then they say these MMDCs must lose their jobs, including the transfer of police commanders who are in this district where Galamsey is endemic. Now, you've heard this morning that a chief had to call on the police to arrest some people who were engaged in illegal mining. We also understand that in the Western region, a chief is also, doing his bit to fight Galamsey to the extent that there was an event where the lands minister was invited to sound a caution to people in the area that no one is ready to countenance the people there engaging in illegal mining. But let me again bring you that particular call to action by the coalition of Ghanaians against illegal mining. But let me go on the phone lines now and bring in Nana Tano and Miza, the Sith, who's chief of Assembly in the Western region. We understand he is also doing his bit to fight Galamsey. Nana, I mean, what is it that you're doing in your community to ensure that Galamsey does not fester in the area?
Well, when we talk of mining, it's a broader picture than just Galamsey. Mining can be metallic or non-metallic. Mining can be oil and gas. Mining can be quarry kind of mining. So basically, we are looking at whatever we are trying to do must be sustainable. When you talk of sustainability, we are looking at the environmental protection aspect of mining. We are looking at biodiversity, protection of different shades of life. We are looking at climate change issues. So we are talking about mining that has to be sustainable. Sustainability also talks about mining is about social concerns and social rights and human rights issues. Okay, so if we are doing mining in such a way that we are abusing human rights, it's a problem. Mining should also socially look at health and safety issues. So whenever there's health and safety issues involved, we are looking at social aspect of mining. Now, community development. So in all this that we're talking about, are we looking at community development? Are we looking at health and safety issues? Is Galamsey giving us this concern? Mining should be economically viable. What we are doing with Galamsey, is it economically viable? That's the question we're asking. Economically, mining should protect the environment. What we are doing with Galamsey, is it protecting the environment?
So what actions are you taking in your locality that other chiefs can emulate?
Sustainable mining ecosystem. That's the first aspect. Okay. The educational aspect of mining is critical for everybody, right? That the people that are involved must be informed that you can do mining, but you don't have to destroy the environment. That's the critical line. Mining as economic activity can go on, but you don't have to destroy the environment. And that's the educational aspect of it. Then the next aspect is that if leadership is asking the youth to get out of Galamsey, leadership must provide an alternative. That is another kind of job situation. Okay, alternative livelihood. So we are saying that leadership must provide alternative livelihood to cause this youth to get out of Galamsey. So when you say stop Galamsey, you must also say start something else. We must look at this mining concept from a very holistic point of view. You cannot be shouting that stop Galamsey, and you're not providing alternative for the youth as to what they will do. So in this model that we're looking at capacity building activities. We're looking at what do we do about this teeming youth that leave school and do nothing but go into the field to destroy the environment. Okay? So we are engaging government also in the area of alternative livelihood. Okay. We are engaging the local assembly, the DCs, the DCs, who are the government representatives at the district level. Okay, we are engaging the security system, and we are engaging we ourselves as chiefs. What are we doing? So now, Nana, to people to mine. Then, when the land is degraded, and the land has to be, we have to plant more trees, the chief doesn't have the right to own that land again. Okay, so these are paradigm shift issues that we are pushing. If you're a chief, which I am one of them, if I give my land to you to mess it up in the area of Galamsey, then when Forestry Commission or the government comes to reclaim the land, then we must share that land. A portion goes to the chief, a portion goes to the people who are claiming, and a portion goes to the government. We have to have some deterrent measures that will have giving your land just to be used to mess. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to talk about what are the chiefs doing or what are we doing,
that's what you're doing.
It's a holistic approach to solving this issue.
Okay. I'm grateful to you for that proposal that if a chief gives land for it to be messed up by Galamseyers, he doesn't need to own the land again after he has been rehabilitated. I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in Isaac Yoson. He is DCE for Chifo Etimokwa in the Central Region. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, why are you finding it difficult to deal with Galamsey in your district?
Thank you very much. As you said, my name is Isaac Yoson, District Chief Executive for Chifo Etimokwa District. We are finding it difficult to fight Galamsey because, please, boys, before the Chinese came to Ghana, purposely to mine in our forests on the water bodies, Ghanaians never knew of the Chamfan machine. Ghanaians were doing Galamsey all right, but they were not doing it on the water bodies. Right now, the Chinese have been able to bring in Chamfan machines, which enables our youth to use it to mine in our water bodies. So what I'm saying is that let the government, which I'm part of it, through the Minister of Land, let him send some allies to the Parliament, so Parliament can pass a law to ban the importation of Chamfan machine. Please do know that the Chamfan machine can never be repaired. Without the Chamfan machine, we will never get the youth on the water bodies to mine. So we are finding it difficult because today you go to the river banks to drive the youth away. Sometimes when you go, because you don't have the equipment, you don't have the canoe, you don't have the life jacket, these youth will be on the water bodies. They will ask you, DC, if you know how to swim, come. So how can a DC who doesn't know how to swim go to the water bodies and arrest those people with the police service, with the Ghana police?
But why not provide the resources? For example, if you don't know how to swim, you will get people in your community who know how to swim that you can draft into a certain team that will fight against Galamsey. Again, if it has to do with canoe, you have the resources to purchase some to fight Galamsey, not so?
Yes. We've tried our best using the local boys to arrest those people. But I do know something. After we've used the local boys to drive them away or arrest them, because they know them, they will go back to their various households to threaten them. Those who will be able to run away, because they know those boys are around, they will go back to their various houses to threaten those people.
So next
time, will you, if their family tries to go for them again, will they come?
So you're saying that the blue guards, they are part of the blue water guards, right?
No, it's the local guys, a decision which we take during a dissect meeting, that we should get local guys who can swim. So I'm urging the minister, this marine police, we want some of them on the river Pra.
But don't you have some of the blue water guards that they recently?
Please, no.
You don't. Okay. So you are saying that your situation is hopeless?
My situation is what?
Hopeless? Because you don't have what it takes to fight
Not hopeless. We are doing our best.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going on radio to educate the youth, to educate the parents. Today you allow your son to mine on the water bodies. Somebody who stays at Takrabi or who stays along the river bank will go and fetch the water and drink. Maybe your family member will be one of them.
I'm sure you are aware the fight against Galamsey or not allowing Galamsey to persist in your area is one of your key performance indicators.
Yes, I know. I'm doing our best.
Is that what,
I just had an interview with the Onia TV rep.
But is that what you tell the president when he calls you for accountability, that I asked you to do this, you have not been able to do it? You tell him that because you don't have what it takes and that you are doing your best?
My suggestion to the president will be that the machine which helps the youth to mine on the water body is the Chamfan machine. So, Mr. President, I'm pleading with you. Let's do everything possible so that if the government can bind the importation of the Chamfan machine.
Would you agree?
And as I said, apart from this, we are also doing our best. People have been arrested. We are. Sometimes you get to the river bank and they will sometimes bring the Chamfan and the boat along the river bank. Then we burn. I have a lot of pictures on my phone.
But when the Galamseyers go to threaten the boys you are using to fight Galamsey, don't you allow the police to go after these Galamseyers for threatening these guys?
yes, you go. So, several people have been arrested. We do that. When you go to Plateau Police Station right now, we have a lot of pumping machine which has been seized. It is in the custody of the police, Ghana Police Service.
So you disagree with calls that you should be sacked for not being able to fight Galamsey because it's part of your KPI?
No, I disagree with those people. We are doing our best. We are putting certain things in place. Dissect in my district, we are doing our best.
Well,
as I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that with that machine, boss, I will insist on it. If we are able to put ban on that machine, boss, we will never get anyone who will mind on the water body again.
But even if we put a ban on it, there are still some in your district, and the president who gave you the job set it as part of your KPI. I'm not sure if you go and tell him, until you ban it, I cannot fight it, he would agree with you and retain you. He will sack you.
Yes,
also.
I'm saying that I'm fighting them. I'm doing my best. As I said, we've burnt a lot of boats on the Pra River, which I have a lot of pictures. But what I'm saying is that the machine, what motivates this boy, this champa machine, when it gets spoiled, boss, there's no way they can repair. So when we put a ban on it, when going forward, when it gets spoiled, definitely, because it is not coming to the country again, it will phase out.
Okay. But will you agree that you can use your resources to purchase some of these canoes so you chase the Galamsey?
Yes, I agree with you. And we've been doing that.
Okay, I'm grateful, but do stay with me. Let me bring in Parkwesi Shandoff. He is Media Relations Officer, Land and Natural Resources. Parkwesi, so, you heard earlier that in the people we spoke to on PM Express, they were calling for a different form of this responsible community mining, or cooperative mining you wanted to do. The question is, how different is that from community mining that we are used to? Such that people can have trust in it, that this will indeed help deal with Galamsey.
All right, good evening. And before anything, it's important to put on record that this Ministry of Lands and
No, Pagosi, I'm losing you. I don't know where you are, but if you can speak up for me.
The reality is that the 8 fallen heroes were on their way to the launch of the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program when they were touched by the icy hands of death. But the tears we share and the grief that we hold now must count for something. And what it is counting for as of now is the redefinition of the entire scope of community mining. So straight to your question, the community mining that we have had, the scheme that we had as rolled out in July 2019, was more of an elitist capture, so to speak, because the mining activities in the communities, though they had been characterized as community mining, did not involve the local folks. You had situations where people would sit in Accra, they would process and acquire the licenses, they would move into the communities, and then they would begin the excavation and the mining process themselves without the indulgence and the participation of the local folks. What we are doing now is that, and indeed, as I speak to you, we have located about 15 to some 20 cooperative mining sites, and the conversations are ongoing. The latest approach in town is that when a community is located in that particular respect, the acquisition of the license and the entire process of excavation and everything around the activity and venture of mining would be done by the community folks themselves, supervised by the local authorities. So that way, it is community-led, it is community-driven.
But Pakwesi, from what hold on. I'm saying that from what I know, what you're explaining was the same system, that local people would acquire the permit and then they use their own people to do the mining. So how different is it?
We do not think that they themselves want to pollute their own water bodies and devastate their own lands.
Pakwesi Shandoff, can you hear me?
Folks to actually lead the front. You take away the possibility of a distraction, because at the end of the day, clearly they cannot destroy their own backyards. And the conversation is ongoing. The program is due to take off. And in addition to that, we need to also add that the fight against illegal mining henceforth is going to take a more aggressive approach, because, like has been rightly indicated already, the incident has really touched the pulse of the government. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is affected. The Sector Minister himself has felt the brunt, and so from today we can expect a more aggressive and combative approach to the fight against illegal mining.
Can you hear me now, Pakwesi? Hello, Shandov, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like Shandov cannot hear me. Shandov,
Hello, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Now, if you say aggressive, what do you mean aggressive?
Well, so prior to now, I think we have actually seen parts of the aggression already, in the sense that we had 9 forest reserves that were inhabited by illegal miners. All of them, through the efforts of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, have all been repossessed. That same level of aggression that led to the repossession is basically the same thing we are rolling it out. The same thing we are rolling out now. And so, in the coming weeks, I may not be able to find the words to describe the essence of the aggression, but you see it in the results that will start choking. It's just a matter of time. And from next week, you see that whole comprehensive and revised approach to the fight against illegal mining.
Yeah, but so I wanted to understand what is going to be part of this aggression, so that we can all monitor to see what government is doing.
All the measures that we have rolled out and we have been implementing would basically be enhanced, so to speak. So, for example, already there is the NIMOS that is responsible for coordinating all the raids and swoops. Definitely, there is an intensification that is going to be done, and that conversation has already begun. When it comes to the prosecution of those who are involved, there is not going to be any slowed process again. In fact, basically, we are going to expedite the entire process. And then, more importantly, to be very realistic, Brace, the reason illegal mining festers in a part of the world is that when you go to many of the mining communities, the justification is that they do not have an immediate size source of livelihood. They don't have jobs that they do. That is why our concept has even come into the picture in the first place. So now that we have provided, quote and unquote, an alternative, clearly we would now operate a no-nonsense tolerance for illegal mining in those communities again. Because if you have consistently been saying that you indulge because you don't have a means of livelihood, now we have provided a vehicle to cater for that. In fact, those who do not want to do mining, there are other aspects of the program like entrepreneurship, agriculture, skills development that could cater for their economic needs.
Okay, I'm grateful to you. Pakwesi Shandov is the Media Relations Officer of the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. To you, Isaac Johnson, so, I mean, from the calamity or the tragedy that we've had, how would that influence the decision you take in the fight against Galamsey in your district now?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm asking that from the tragedy we've had, how has that influenced the fight that you're putting up against Galamsey in your community, in your district?
Are you talking about my senior brothers who died about...
Yes, that's it.
Okay. In fact, they were going to...
No, we know about that. I'm saying that how has that impacted your fight against Galamsey in your district?
Oh, we've not lost interest yet. We are going to fight.
Okay.
We are going after them. I'm happy with the interview we had with the PRO for Lands and Natural Resources.
Okay, all right.
In fact, with this one, I know the EPA, the Mineral Commission, and the Forest Commission, and officers from the District Assembly will be going there from time to time to monitor them.
I'm grateful to you. Isaac Yosin is DC Chief for Timokwa District. This has been Top Story brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, and also is brought to you by Shield Pension Trust into the future. With you up next is Newsnight.
30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good evening, and welcome to News Night.
The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Coming up tonight, Chief of Defense Staff clarifies the use of cocoa sacks in transporting remains from the deadly helicopter crash site in Adanse last Wednesday.
We had some body bags at the scene, but the remains were so heated that it was not conducive for the bags to be used.
Plus, government receives the green light to collaborate with international agencies and experts in investigating the Z9 helicopter crash.
The Ghana Armed Forces have already begun investigations into the incident. We have made requests for international collaboration.
Also tonight, government faces renewed criticism over its plans to assess the credibility of religious prophecies, with Cardinal Ajakum weighing in on the debate and stressing the need for sensitivity and caution.
Who is credible? How do we determine that? What is the criteria for a credible prophet? It leaves a lot of questions that need to be answered, but.
More as Cardinal Ajakum also backs calls for government to prioritize proactive reforms to strengthen and modernize the Ghana Armed Forces in the wake of the deadly helicopter crash. In business.
Well, banks and other financial institutions shouldn't have their non-performing loans exceed 10% at the end of next year as part of new regulatory measures.
And in sports, Ghanaians express mixed reaction over the GFA's landmark decision to extend presidential term limit.
And a bit later, Dr. Mahmoudou Bawumia is telling supporters that he is going to win the 2028 elections for the New Patriotic Party after dozens of youth organizers of the party picked nomination forms on his behalf.
I want to say that I am minded to contest for the flag bearership of the New Patriotic Party.
We have details of these and many other stories coming up in the next 60 minutes. My name is Kenneth Jesse.
My name is Pelo Furi.
Remember, you can be a part of this show by WhatsApping us on 055 11 11 997. We'll be back with details after this.
Ma, have you received the delivery?
The rider's bay. Send in the Momo.
Okay. Star 17.
Pow. Don't you use a smartphone? Use the Momo app, ne?
Huh? Aba app.
Hey, I want to say a millennium, say millennial. Inim. Oh, millennium for ya nyaze. Switch to the app. Oh, you're smart. And now you're secure.
Enter a world of possibilities with the Momo app. Pay your favorite merchant, pay utility bills, and borrow from our wide range of lending services. Move to the app side today. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office,
Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
M&C Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302 551 917 or 0302 551 918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Big news. Small money day, big money day, where too much money day. Telecel too much money promo drop. If you dial *500#, then join them for the Telecel too much money promo inside. You feel win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points where it make you win. Make you dial *500# or go the Telecel Play app top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel too much money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA where they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana mada with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana kron kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
No. You look so relaxed and cheerful these days. What's your secret?
No secret, Ofofi. I just sorted out my retirement with Shield Pension Trust. You should talk to them.
Retirement? A small time before pension.
Sure. The earlier you start, the better. And Shield Pension Trust makes this so easy for you. They've got amazing plans to choose from. I even signed up for the Shield Cedi Crow a day personal pension scheme, which lets you save as little as 1 Ghana cedi a day towards your retirement. Isn't that great?
1 cedi a day.
Exactly. And the best part is, I sign up automatically on the Dachia Promoting Plan, which guarantees me medical insurance when I go on retirement.
Hey, you've convinced me. I need to sign up now.
Kofi is making a move to secure his future and health insurance when he goes on retirement. What about you? Go to Shield Pension Trust or call us now on 050-915-0253 and we'll guide you through securing your pension tomorrow. Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you.
After a long flight, Safari Homes gives you the peace to unwind. A short drive from the airport, convenient for all. For nature lovers, Safari Valley Resort is a hidden gem, surrounded by lush greenery and luxury amenities. A place where you can truly escape. Now, for water adventure, Aqua Safari Resort has it all. Jet skis, canoe rides, kayaking, and a visit to the estuary. And for more excitement, Safari Eco Park is a perfect place to get closer to some amazing animals.
Visit Safari World in Ghana, together bringing you closer to nature.
Hello again. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ajakum, has shed light on the challenging circumstances surrounding the transportation of remains from the helicopter crash in Adanse. He says, contrary to speculation, body bags were indeed available at the scene, but the extreme heat of the remains rendered them unsuitable for use.
Now, instead, cocoa sacks were utilized to convey the remains, sparking controversy over the dignity of the victims. Now, speaking to journalists here in Accra, the Chief of Defense Staff explained that the intense heat of the remains made traditional body bags impractical, leading to the unconventional use of the cocoa sacks.
With the available and appropriate material we have on the ground, we had some body bags at the scene, but the remains were so heated that it was not conducive for the bags to be used. It was in a thick forest. It was getting late. We had the option of leaving our remains there to the following day, and we know what could have happened to the bodies. So the team that was up there assessing the situation decided to use available material they could lay hands on to start to descend the high ground. At the foot of the hill, they met the medical team, and with the body bags that they had, some of which have been also sent from Anglo Gold Ashanti, they kept our fallen heroes in those bags decently.
Well, so we can now get more on this and speak to a senior lecturer at the Forensic Sciences, University of Cape Coast, Dr. Richmond Awaka. Now, he's joined us via Zoom. Good evening and thank you for your time on Newsnight.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
We've heard the Chief of Defense Staff explaining that, of course, the intense heat of the remains made traditional body bags impractical. That led to the unconventional use of cocoa sacks. And we also have experts telling us that irrespective of the heat, PVC-coated nylon or double seal or heat-sealed closures could have been used to convey the remains. I just want to find out, from where you sit, what do you make of these two views?
Yes, good evening once again. There are two sides to this whole discussion. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Awaka.
Okay. So there are two sides to this whole discussion, and I hope we can have enough time to discuss both sides. So there are different kinds of body bags used to convey victims of accidents, fire scenes, homicides, different kinds of body bags. For this particular accident, what was needed was the kind of body bag that was heat resistant, that was leak proof, and that had an interior support system to carry the mortal remains of the victims. So these are the three characteristics that the body bag should have had. As the CDS said, they had standard body bags at the scene, which standard body bags practically wouldn't be suitable for carrying bodies from such a scene. So yeah, like I've always been saying, we didn't prepare for this disaster, so I'm not sure that they had the appropriate body bag to be able to carry the bodies from the accident scene. That said, he also made a point that they had a choice. It was getting late, and they had a choice to leave the bodies there and come for them the following morning. That would have been the standard practice. Allow me to say this. For every accident scene or for every fire scene, if there is still fire or there is heat at the scene, that scene is declared a hazardous scene, and it is not a scene that forensic experts or investigators should actually enter. So let me make that point very clear. If there was still heat at the scene, the investigators or the experts should have waited for the scene to cool down. At the scene. And if there was still heat there, then it wasn't a scene for them to enter. But he made a point that, and they made a tactical decision. We all know that side of the country, Galamsey, is very rampant there, and the presence of the military could possibly start something different. If the military were going to be in the forest for that period of time overnight, guarding the scene, guarding the bodies, it could have sparked something different. So the military intelligence, together with the practicality of the situation, they decided to move the bodies that evening, and they improvised. Really, the cocoa sacks were not the appropriate tools to have used to cut the bodies, but they improvised. I mean, we improvise at the accident scene and crime scene every day. So that was the improvise they made. We have lashed them, and it wasn't the appropriate material to use to cut the bodies, but they did that. And the lesson we learned from here is that going forward, we should be prepared for such disasters.
Of course, with what the Chief of Defense Staff has said and also what you have stated here on the show, this should put an end to the debate on whether or not, body bags were used there or not.
Yes, of course. He says that there were body bags available. Suitability of the body bags is another debate. Preparedness for such a situation is also another debate. The availability of persons with knowledge in the use of appropriate body bags is also another debate. But I think what Ghanaians have been looking for is whether there were body bags there or not. And he has put that matter to rest. They actually had body bags, but he says that the bodies were too hot for the nylon body bags to carry them. And like I have said, if the bodies were too hot, they should have allowed the bodies to cool before carrying them. There should have been the appropriate body bags available to carry the mortal remains of these heroes. But then this brings the matter to rest. There were body bags available, albeit not the appropriate ones, but they were available. And they improvised. And the reason for that tactical decision to carry the bodies from the site at that time, I mean, the military is the only group that can tell us, and we cannot lash them on that because it was a tactical decision. I mean, you wouldn't leave soldiers in the bush for overnight when such an accident happens, when they have intelligence that something may happen. So they quickly moved the bodies. And then let us also understand that before the bodies arrived in Accra, they were in proper coffins. And I think that point should also be made.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richmond Awaka, Senior Lecturer at the Forensic Sciences, University of Cape Coast.
Meanwhile, our government has received the green light to collaborate with international agencies and experts in investigating the deadly Z9 helicopter crash that claimed 8 lives, including 2 cabinet ministers in the Ashanti region. Well, Deputy Defense Minister Bruja Jemfi assured that the high-powered board of inquiry, working alongside top global crash investigators, will leave no stone unturned in unraveling the circumstances surrounding the tragic incident.
We also want to assure you that the Ghana Armed Forces have already begun investigations into the incident. We have made requests for international collaboration, and we have received positive response in that regard. And so we want to assure you, our chiefs, that nothing will be covered. It will be transparent, and the public, Ghanaian public, will know exactly what happened and the cause of this tragic accident. We also want to caution the media and some analysts who have been churning out misinformation and untruths about this whole incident. All I want to say is that Ghanaians should trust that the ministry and the Ghana Armed Forces are going to be diligent in the investigations and transparent about it, and whatever was the cause will be known to the people of Ghana, and we will take some lessons out of that.
Well, Senior Lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Victor Doke, says the Armed Forces' request for international expertise in the Z9 helicopter crash investigations should be seen as a boost, not a dent, to Ghana's capabilities.
In this case, now what I see, in my opinion, is that the investigations with regards to collaboration with international agencies will bring some sort of an enhanced process. Now, it doesn't mean that we do not have the capacity to do that. There may be some challenges with regards to equipment to ascertain or to verify, to do a forensic analysis, which is not available. But that does not mean we cannot seek for international assistance. Seeking international assistance also would enable some level of high secrecy, okay? The process will be kept in secrecy because we know that everything with regards to this crash has to be kept in secrecy until the final results come out. And even what will come out to the domain will not likely be the full report, but only some section of the reports that will come out.
Well, meanwhile, aviation professor Daniel Ajakum has been given details of what the international investigators will be looking into.
So, yes, we would love to be able to analyze the field wreckage, to be able to identify capture marks, to be able to identify the energy dynamics at the time of impact, and missing components of the aircraft. It's not the ideal, but at least from what we have now in terms of recovering the flight data recorders and the cockpit voice recorders, we should be able to get the original equipment manufacturer and maybe an accredited lab to be able to have the hardware and the software to be able to extract the data. And then we'll look at some of the performance parameters in terms of the airspeed. We'll look at the altitude. We'll look at the engine performance. And all of them will be sort of, normally we do performance graphs, and we'll be able to identify areas of discrepancy. And it's not only the flight data recorder that is going to tell investigators, give them an idea of some of the causal and contributing factors. Remember, we are also sequestering the maintenance record of the aircraft. We are going to look at the air crew, their personal data in terms of their medical records, their training records, their level of certification. We'll look at what we call fitness for duty. So within the last 3 days prior to the flight, 1 month prior to the flight, how many hours are they flown? We are looking at things like fatigue. We are looking at things like the human factors. I mean, trying to understand what was going on in the minds of the flight crew. We are looking at air traffic control data, okay, the communication between the crew and air traffic control, radar surveillance data. So you see the amount of data that investigators will be collecting. That all would be triangulated. And of course, the FDR gives you factual data, but you also triangulate it with all these other data to build a holistic picture, which then gives the investigators, we call it findings. So we'll come up with the findings, and then based on that, we build probable, hypotheses as to why and how this happened.
Okay. Let's go onto the telephone lines now and speak to Parliament's Vice Chairman on the Defence and Interior Committee, Peter Tobu. Thank you very much for your time this evening. We know that government has confirmed the involvement of international agencies who are helping with investigators. But as a member and, of course, a leader in the Defence and Interior Committee, are you privy to the institutions that are offering this help?
Thank you very much. Good evening to you, Kenneth. Good evening to Pearl. Good evening to our cherished viewers and listeners. It is under a very heavy cloud that we will continue to brace up to speak as we continue to convey our condolences to the bereaved families. But we believe that the vision for which they stood for, we will pick up the pieces, run with it, and make sure that Ghana will learn from the past, learn from the present, and be able to project a better future so that at least collectively we will have a better Ghana. As a member of the Defence and Interior Committee, finally becoming the Vice Chairman of recent, I think that all we do at the committee level is to play oversight. And I'm excited listening to the Chief of Defence Staff. You see, it was okay for him to stop at the point when he said, we took a technical decision to do what we did and improvise for body bags. Because if you understand the system in Ghana, over the years, when we talk about bodies are cold bodies. And all the bodyguards that we've ever imported are targeted at collecting cold bodies. Nobody ever thinks about collecting a body with a level of temperature that the body bag cannot resist. So we don't have heat-resistant body bags. The technical decision to move the bodies at that material moment, though as we see as inappropriate, was good enough. And it was good for the Chief of Defence Staff to stop at that technical decision level, not going too much into detail, because as we engage foreign experts to support that, which is not new, because the FDR, in other words, the flight data recorder, or the CVR, the cockpit voice recorder, all these things for you to decode and get information to guide your investigation require some level of foreign expertise. So it is even a standard practice to get global organizations that have expertise in these matters to collaborate with government for us to delve deeper into this incident, so that at least when we come out with the report, from the BOI, at least it will guide us as a country. I believe that as the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee, we will be quiet and we believe and trust in the process. We've already issued a statement saying that we are interested in the outcome, and I'm quite sure that when we get to the point, we'll be giving briefing. But we don't do micromanagement at all.
There are persons who are saying that this report, when it comes out, it should be made public. Do you support that?
The report will be made public on the need-to-know basis. These are security matters. If the publicity of the report will enhance the image of this country and enhance our potential to prevent accident, why not? But if there are certain things that we don't need to make it public as matters of security, just like he said, at the point that we decided to carry the bodies in bags that probably were so inappropriate, it was a technical decision. And that tactical approach is not something that we will be willing to explain too much. Let it be the decision of the ministry, a decision of government, to make what is necessary as public to the public and make what is unnecessary unpublic.
Peter Tobu, thank you very much. He's the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament there.
Now let's bring you more on the helicopter crash. And Ghana has, since a week ago, been thrown into a state of mourning after the country was greeted by the sudden passing of 8 of its citizens, including 2 cabinet ministers who died tragically in that helicopter crash. Now, Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omani-Boama and Environment Minister Murtala Mohammed and 6 others were crushed to death while on their way to Obuasi for the launch of the Responsible Cooperative Mining Program. Now, Emmanuel Bright Kweku catalogues events so far following the demise of Ghana's fallen heroes.
On that note, the Responsible Cooperative Mining is
supposed to be a normal day in Ghana with its citizens going about their daily duties. The government was ready in itself to launch one of its flagship programs, the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program in Obuasi, with various dignitaries in attendance. But only 12 hours into the day, the news broke.
Medicine nananom se miye na ma humi a yenya emergency bi ma ha eso ho yakone yeba etimi MC fo ni bi ni commanders ni bi ye betu na yakwa the handle sa emergency ni kakra ministers aka wa chire no mbere na adwumadie ni bi aka ni na no ma hwe no ma hwehwe e dia ma.
The Ghana Armed Forces announced a helicopter en route to the event from Accra had gone missing from its radar. Aboard the aircraft were dignitaries expected to grace the event.
Of a military helicopter this morning around the Adansi area in Ashanti.
Shortly after the announcement, the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, confirmed the demise of the 8 passengers on board the helicopter.
Dr. Edward Kofi Omani-Boama, Minister for Defense. Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, MP, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Lemonad, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and former Minister for Food and Agriculture. Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress. And Mr. Samuel Abuaji, a former parliamentary candidate. Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Manin Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. The President and government extends our condolences and sympathies to the families of our comrades and the servicemen who died in service to the country. All flags are to fly at half-mast until further notice.
Into a state of mourning. Ghana had lost 8 of its gallant men. The aircraft they were on board had crashed into the deep forest of Dampia Range in Sikaman Bofuyedru in the Adansia Krofom district of the Ashanti region. Because the helicopter was closer to the ground, I looked at it cautiously. At a few seconds, I heard a loud noise, and I reckoned it could be the helicopter. I rushed to the scene and called out for people to tend to the incident. Emergency service providers, together with some government officials, led by the Ashanti Regional Minister, rushed to the scene in frantic efforts to retrieve the bodies of the 8 which were burnt beyond recognition. But the journey to the scene did not come easy. The team trekked for hours, navigating the deep forest and meandering through the slippery and slender routes. After at least 2 hours of walking, the child remains were retrieved from the helicopter wreckage and were airlifted to the national capital, Accra.
That's Emmanuel Bright Kweku's report there. Meanwhile, residents of Adansia Krofrom in the Ashanti region sought to honor the memory of the victims by playing solemn music in tribute to the departed. However, military personnel stationed in the area stopped the activity, reportedly to preserve the official atmosphere of mourning and ensure compliance with directives for the national period of grief. Listen to the residents.
No leader has come to address us after what happened in this town, so we, the young men here, decided to gather and play music in memory of the departed souls. Then the military came to stop us. We are pained.
I just don't know what to do or say. It's so unfortunate. We all heard the plane crash, and my husband rushed there and saw the victims burning to ashes. So we are doing this in their memory. We are truly saddened.
Oh, said they work on paper, and then now to that, said the actually to say Ghana mine, a true Ghana mine. Now, Anka, and then another to say, and then or maybe we can cry their share in Pinafrinia.
It's been a week since this tragedy befell the country. Our elders promised to do something in their honor. So today we decided to play music in their memory. But the military men came to stop us. We spent a lot of money to rent the instruments. And now it has been stopped. We have run at a loss.
Now let's move on to some other stories. And government is facing renewed criticism over its plan to assess the credibility of religious prophecies, with Cardinal Apia Texan weighing in on the debate. The Cardinal, Chancellor of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences and Social Sciences, cautions that any review process must be handled with extreme care due to the complexity and potential contentiousness of identifying and verifying prophecies and their proponents.
Well, critics argue that the government's plan raises deeper concerns about truth and transparency, potentially infringing on freedom of belief. Cardinal Texan highlights the intricacies involved in evaluating religious prophecies, emphasizing the need for sensitivity and caution.
Who is credible? How do we determine that? What is the criteria for a credible prophet? It leaves a lot of questions that need to be answered. But in any case, wherever prophecies occur, and God making His knowledge known to you, you consider the content of that message, and if it requires some intercession, please do that now before you even seek to communicate that to anybody. What I have learned in these, I don't know how many years, at least 50 years of being a priest and all of that in this regard, and we're dealing with some such experiences. I think prophecies as a communication of divine knowledge to humans, first and foremost, makes you privy of God's thoughts and whatever. And for me, the first consequence is to speak with God Himself, especially if the content of the privacy is about disaster or evil or something that may befall.
Two other stories, and the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs is calling on the government to take a holistic approach to combating illegal mining in the country in honor of the victims of last week's Z9 helicopter crash. Speaking during a visit to the Defense Ministry, the president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Nungwa Manche, Kin Professor Udaifio Walenchi III, says the deaths of the individuals should not be in vain.
If what we heard is true, that they are in the line of their duty, then somebody may ask, what kind of duty that caused them? Illegal mining, aka Galamsey. This is what has cost their life. If we cannot do anything about this holistically, once and for all, that will stop this thing, then these gallant men have died for nothing. This country should rise up and do whatever possible to stop this Galamsey in this country. Look at the number of years it takes for somebody to become a defense minister. The training alone. I don't know how many men we have.
Well, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs then proceeded to the national headquarters of the governing National Democratic Congress with the same message. In response, the national chairman of the party, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, said it is important to draw on traditional customs as a guide in the fight against illegal mining.
We know that even before the advent of colonization and the coming into this land, the white man, we had our culture, we had our religion. Part of our culture gives regulations as to how our environment ought to be protected. In Ghana here, I know on Tuesdays you don't go to sea. This is not contained in any law, but it is a tradition that has been handed over the centuries, and it has been respected. When you go to our forest regions, there are places which are traditional forest reserve. Nobody dared to enter any traditional forest reserve. And as traditional leaders, our water bodies were no-go areas on certain times and certain periods and under certain conditions. What has happened? So this is a time for reflection over our lives as a country, Ghana, and to see how we can make things better.
Johnson Esiedun Ketia is the national chairman of the NDC. It's now time for business, and George Riafe is here with the latest. George, what do you have for us?
Well, coming up, banks and other financial institutions should not have their non-performing loans exceed 10% by the end of next year as part of new regulatory measures. And the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama is urging commercial banks to respond to current economic development and also review their lending rate. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Sinter Stanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
Ama, big news! Star Oil is now the largest oil marketing company in Ghana.
Wow, that's huge!
Yes, so the largest distributor of petroleum products in Ghana. Ever since I switched to Star Oil, my car runs smoother. The fuel lasts longer, no strange engine sound, just clean, powerful performance.
Oh, same here. I used to refill every 3 days until I switched to Star Oil. Now, my fuel lasts way longer. I don't know what magic is inside, but my car loves it.
Exactly. It's not magical. From Accra to Kumasi to Tamale, Star Oil day everywhere with 240 filling stations and counting. That's why more Ghanaians are choosing Star Oil.
Hey, my tank is almost empty. I am heading to Star Oil right now before the queue starts.
I'm right behind you, Amma.
We set out with a mission to serve better and lead boldly. We're proud to say we are Ghana's #1 oil marketing company. To our loyal Star Savers across the country, thank you for believing in us. Star Oil, quality and affordable fuels for all.
Cavity protection.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, Mensah. Hey, stay soft concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. Just send it this way. You have it now. New units now. No, be a baby. Someone some demoni in us. Say, Mensah. For quiet, yes, in Biara Association Ontario. Use Stay Soft and new units now. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. A year near Sesa. Susu stay soft. Ne hunu so say no. FDID edwadin kratu yatu.
Saswabo. Sasso sasso e se come tonton preko. Sasso sasso e se come tonton preko. Edrana twamin ya buseshe. Ya hakesia ne malaria. Minya me kone me sasso spray. Every mosquito study run away. Come on tonton preko. Sasso sasso mi se come tonton preko. Come on tonton preko. Sasso come tonton preko. Na ni sham ne die e demo stronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Bank of Ghana has taken additional measures to deal with high non-performing loans in banks and other financial institutions in the country. There is more on these directives in the following report.
The Bank of Ghana in the notice argued that the action is aimed at dealing with increasing risks to industry's profitability, liquidity and solvency, as well as threats to the stability of the entire financial system. It also re-emphasized that these measures will be in addition to existing prudential guidance as well as best international practices for managing credit risk. The measures will push all these institutions to maintain a robust credit risk management framework and ensure that all their processes are in line with the new measures. Based on this new directive, banks and other financial institutions are expected to adequately manage credit granting functions. All these financial institutions have up to end of December next year to fully comply. According to the latest economic and financial data, total industry non-performing loans has reached about 20%.
And that is a Business Desk report. In a related development, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, is asking commercial banks to respond to the current economic development as well as the recent cut in the policy rate. James Eshen has the rest of the story.
The central bank governor at the meeting challenged the banks to channel more credit into productive sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and infrastructure development, which have the potential to accelerate job creation and improve the economy at large.
Your tasks as leaders of the sector is to translate stability into growth, to channel more credit into productive enterprises, to support SMEs, to finance critical infrastructure, and leverage digital innovations to reach undeserved markets.
He also said the Bank of Ghana plans to engage the Ghana Association of Banks in the coming days to address concerns surrounding forward foreign exchange auctions and market liquidity.
At the same time, we will engage the Ghana Association of Banks in a structured discussion on proposals, some of which they have shared with us, relating to NOP support, relating to FX forward auctions, remittance coordination, and market liquidity, and all these with the aim of agreeing on practical, market-friendly solutions.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, also said the central bank will soon be rolling out some new measures targeted at strengthening banks in the country. The move, according to him, will target the credit risk, liquidity, and reserve requirement for commercial banks in the country.
We will begin with credit and risk governance. Direction: all banks will be required to identify and take firm action against deliberate defaulters to ensure that credit obligations are honored.
The meeting formed part of the central bank's ongoing engagement with the industry stakeholders to align policy objectives with private sector participation in economic development.
And James Eshen put together the report after attending a meeting between the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama and managing directors of commercial banks at the Bank of Ghana earlier today. Still on this development, the head of finance at Melbourne Capital, Nelson Kojo, has been responding to the new non-performing loans directive as well as the charge to the commercial banks to reduce their lending rate.
The non-performing loans in Ghana within the banking sector is way above 20%. And when you are a country and your banking sector has a non-performing loans more than 20%, then it means that there is a serious problem within the banking system. And so what the Bank of Ghana intend doing is to make sure that, credit risk and governance regimes are structured in such a way that we will cut down significantly on non-performing loans. In fact, the governor made mention of the fact that the policy rate itself is not the only factor that the banks take into consideration when they are fixing their pricing for credit facilities. They also take into consideration other factors. Now, one of the factors that they take into consideration is the reference rate. Now, the reference rate has been reduced to 19.6%. The banks, they are in business, and so the expectation is that they will also add a margin. And so in the coming day, don't forget that the banks, they have also mobilized their loans at a very high cost. And so they cannot just cut down on their lending rate just like that. They need a time to readjust their portfolio.
Head of Finance at Merban Capital, Nelson Kojo Kwaboji. Now, the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo, has cautioned that the gap between academia and industry will persist unless students actually take some steps to deal with training being restructured to meet industry demand. Dr. Pelpo made these remarks at the 2025 Global Conference on Human Resources in Africa held in collaboration with the Society for Human Resource Management.
We need to close it by the kind of training we give to students from class 1 up to the university levels. We need to improve the kind of training we give. Our government is working very hard to close it. We are improving TVET skills. We are improving educational skills at all levels. We are even taxing workers themselves right now to have more skills, to beef up their skills, to give them more confidence that, look, in putting up, in training yourself to reach a certain level, is going to add more to your value than your existing situation. So it is a policy now, and we are working towards it.
Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo. Now, alcoholic and beverage manufacturing firm Casapreco has emphasized its commitment to impacting positively on societies and the environment in which it operates with its actions. The firm highlighted this commitment when a sum of 300,000 Ghana cedis was presented to the cardiovascular unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra today. The initiative is part of the company's Awake One for Life donation initiative. Let's hear from Linda Edu. She's the marketing manager for Casapreco.
As a business, people matter over profit. So in our earlier submission, you realize that we mentioned that when we're starting the brand Awake Purified Drinking Water, we started it with consideration to helping Ghanaians living with various vascular diseases. So at Casapreco, being a fully owned Ghanaian company, we want to give back to the same Ghanaians who've kept us in business since 1979. This shows that as a business, we also prioritize human beings over whatever profits we are making. So this is just one of the many things we do. With this brand, we are focused on giving back to people with cardiovascular disease. We also go to towns without access to potable drinking water. We drill boreholes, and we also have a tree planting initiative all centered around this One for Life. One for Life meaning that every Ghanaian is entitled to quality life.
Linda Edu is the marketing manager at Casapreco. The program also funds borehole projects, tree planting and other community projects across the country. On the stock market, MTN is still posting some good returns for its shareholders. Now, the share price of which MTN was up by 3 pesos to close at 3 Ghana cedis 98 pesos. GCB was up by 3 pesos to close at 9 Ghana cedis 57 pesos. Farm milk was also up marginally to close at 4 Ghana cedis 41 pesos. If you have invested on the market from the beginning of the year to now, you made a return of more than 50%. Now, this is far more than other investment assets currently on the market. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Let's do sports. And Daniel Ajakum is around.
Yeah, now Ghanaians have expressed mixed reaction over the GFA's landmark decision to extend the presidential term limit. The Football Association yesterday voted to increase the presidential term limit for the GFA presidency from 2 to 3 terms. Joy Sports took to the streets to speak their views on football fans on the issue.
And for Kofi Adams, I don't know what transpired because he's been a critic of Keto when he was in opposition. So I don't understand why you allow a Congress in which journalists will not be allowed into the premises. And now you are telling us, Keto is telling us that, okay, support our own.
I don't want to talk much about him. Whatever he wants to do,
he should do.
So, for my option, is good.
So, Keto should go for 12 years.
Yes.
Why?
Oh, he's taking Ghana football far. The government cannot involve himself unless election. When Okreku can be removed, I would like it. As Okreku, I don't even like him properly. It doesn't have to do with the government. Me, I will take my blame to the government.
Now, Ghana's Mohamed Kudus is in the starting lineup for Europa League winners Tottenham Hotspur, who take on UEFA Champions League winners PSG in the UEFA Super Cup at 7 p.m. tonight. It is the first opportunity for Kudus to win silverware with his new team since joining last month from West Ham United. Tottenham Hotspur, they start with Vicario in post, Danso, Romero, Van de Ven, Esporo, Bentancur, Paulinia, Sarr, Spence, Richarlison and Mohamed Kudus for the UEFA Champions League holders PSG. They start with their new goalkeeper Chevalier in post. There's Hakimi, Marquinhos, Paco Mendes, Zaire Emery, Vitinha, Due, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia and Ballon d'Or favourite Ousmane Dembele. Bring that into sports. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Daniel, for bringing us the latest in sports. Let's do some politics now, as former Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia has expressed his readiness to lead the MPP as its presidential candidate after he said 490 youth organizers of the party picked nomination forms on his behalf. Speaking at his campaign office after accepting the nomination forms from the party executives, the 2024 flag bearer of the MPP said the gesture showed the remarkable vote of confidence reposed in him by the party's youth wing.
I want to say that I am minded to contest for the flag bearership of the new patriotic party. But let us say that I want this flag bearership election to be conducted with decorum. We are not in a campaign of insults, and we should not be in a campaign of insults. It should be about ideas, and that is what will capture the imagination of Ghanaians. What ideas do we have? What are we bringing to the table? How are we going to solve problems that Ghanaians face? As a party, I admonish everybody, all the aspirants and our supporters, that let us focus on marketing or selling our respective candidates. When we bring down other people, we are bringing down the MPP. Our messages will be taken by our opponents and used against us. I will not, and you will never hear me insulting any candidate.
You hear that the 2024 flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Dr. Bawumia, the party's youth organizer for Kankoi Central, Isaac Obeng, who spoke on behalf of his colleague organizers after picking the form, said based on his track record, Dr. Bawumia is the best candidate to lead the party into the 2028 general elections.
At this critical moment in our governance as a country, looking at what has happened over the 7-month period, the only savior that can restore the 36,000 people that have been sacked, youth that has been sacked, is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. The only leader we see as a unifier is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. The only one that we believe that is credible and have no iota of corruption that can be associated with him is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. The only person that has gathered the experience over the years from 2008 till now as a former vice presidential candidate and later becoming the former vice president of the Republic of Ghana is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia.
You heard there the youth organizer of Okaikwe South of the new patriotic party, Isaac Obeng there. Let's get onto the telephone lines right now and speak to the camp of Mahamudu Bawumia and Kennedy Ajakum, two of the leading potential candidates of the new patriotic party. Gentlemen, let me start with you, Kwesi Kwatin. He is the spokesperson for Kennedy Ajakum. Thank you very much. We also have Anthony Abei-Fakabo, who is a senior political advisor to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Mr. Kwatin, let me start with you. There have been criticism, social media criticism, that the battle for the grassroots has now been drawn, looking at the fact that such a whopping number of youth organizers, the base of the party, went out to support Bawumia and indeed picked nomination forms for him. Are you scared? Is the camp of Kede Japan scared? Hello, Mr. Kwatin. Unfortunately, we've lost him there, but we still have Anthony Kabo, who is the senior political advisor to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Mr. Kabo, people are saying that what happened today was a mere charade. You're just parading people, deliberately giving them money to pick forms for it to look as though Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has the grassroots. Is that really the case?
Yeah, thank you very much, Evans. Most grateful for this opportunity. We have picked forms, actually received the forms from the youth organizers who had contacted our office a few weeks back and indicated that because of the nature of the campaign and the way His Excellency had worked very closely with the youth wing of the party, they would like to take up this exercise, to pick up the form, and that's exactly what happened. As for the interpretations and the twists and turns, I don't think we will be invited into that conversation. We're sticking to our candidate. Our candidate has shown, both to the country and to the party, that he's a formidable candidate. And for me, the takeaway in all of this is admonishment to the young people that our exercise must be devoid of insults, attacks, and any type of invectives that has a tendency to bring the name of the party into disrepute and also give our opponents cannon fodder for the elections ahead of us. I think that call is critical at this point.
Questions have been raised about the exact number of youth organizers who mobilized funds to pick the nomination forms for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You put a number at 490. People are really questioning that number. Clarify for us, is it indeed 490 people?
I think that the youth organizers themselves spoke to the matter. We were the receiving end. And so maybe a call-up with the young man who spoke on behalf of the youth will be able to ascertain these numbers you're talking about. But I want to believe that we have a huge body of young people in the party, particularly our youth organizers, women organizers, secretaries, right through the structure of the party, who support His Excellency. They have supported his bid. They worked with him throughout from 2008. And don't forget, this is the candidate who has traversed the country in 5 separate elections. It's a very, very marketable candidate, somebody who is known in the nooks and crannies of this country. And let's not forget that to become a flag bearer and a potential president for any political party, high name recognition is an important tool or a better variable for anybody to propel or railroad himself into the presidency.
Thank you very much. Anthony Kabo is a senior political advisor to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That brings us to the end of News Night tonight. My name is Kenneth Jesse.
My name is Pelufuri.
But right after this, we have Enimwa who will be joining us with Strong and Sassy. And Enimwa, just like the whole of the country, I can see that you are mourning, but what are we discussing tonight?
So, last 2 weeks was our last show, and we were talking about content creation. And today we want to talk about how, people take intimate family moments and turn them into, content, really. How to manage that, what that should look like, how to keep your family safe, and all of that. So that's what we're talking about, keeping content creation safe when it involves your family.
Yeah, I've seen one. I saw one recently where a family moved to a hotel, and then the husband booked for 2 rooms, one for the children and then another for he and the wife, and then the wife wanted to sleep in the
With
children's
the kids.
room,
Okay.
and that looked like a family skit. So
Okay.
I think today's conversation is really going to be interesting.
And obviously also the safety issues that come with putting out, some sorts of information. So anyway, stay tuned in. That's Strong and Sassy coming up next.
Yes, can't wait.